have some questions for you, Bart. So back to nourishment. And you mentioned that you didn't realize when you were going through these steps that how undernourished you are. I want to hear how you did realize that and why you think that is, what you think scientifically is behind the priming. Couple of questions.
Yep. Okay. So I wasn't eating enough fat.
Oh, gotcha.
We worked that out about, if you remember, about 2/3 of the way through, we worked out I needed to increase my fat intake because I was having one or two issues that were suggestive that my fat intake was insufficient. At the same time, that was kind of a psychological thing, even though I know better. And I was doing it because I was wanting to strip fat off my body. I was wanting to get the six pack together. I was probably actually working against myself in achieving that goal by not eating enough fat. I knew it. And yet still somehow there's that psychological thing, well, let's avoid fat. And then I'll use more of my stored fat, which is nonsense. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this was coming from a scientist that knows.
I'm so glad to hear that from you. Yes.
And yet that was still happening. But also my protein intake was not quite sufficient, not because I wasn't eating enough relatively, but because I was not eating enough food altogether.
Under-eating.
Under-eating in general. And I've been doing that my whole life, as I say. So that's kind of an ingrained thing. So the fact that I had to force myself to eat too much food for 2 weeks up front was the thing that made me realize somewhere in between what I have been doing and this ridiculous priming nonsense is about where I need to be home base. And that's where I am now. I mean, much more heartily.
Great. That's what I wondered.
Much more, ongoingly, much more heartily than I was for my whole life. Absolutely. And it's clean because there's no plant-based nonsense that's sneaking in there to speak of at all.
Still 100% carnivore.
Well, I'm still drinking coffee, but there's no energy in that. So that's not actually food.
I'm not that worried about that. Yeah.
Right. There is the occasional spoonful of rice here and there because Pim's having some rice because she feels she needs to for whatever reason. And so I'm saying, there.
Is it because of a craving or is it because?
I don't know. It's just like, some rice would be nice. And then I'll have a spoonful and go, nah, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And then actually usually the next day I get paid for having had even one spoonful of rice, if you know what I mean.
You feel it. That's what
not only do I feel it, but the signs occur. It's very clear the next day that I shouldn't have done that. So there you go. In terms of scientifically, to me, the thing that underpins the priming is absolutely that even people like myself who have been eating almost carnivore, even for an extended period of time, are typically vastly underfed, under-nutrient. They have nutrient deficiencies that they've accrued over years and years and years. And you need to make sure that you've absolutely got everything on board before you start any idea about fasting to try and change your body composition at all. Otherwise, you're going to struggle and your body's going to crave.
Yes.
And the fact that I craved nothing, I felt short of nothing. I wanted for nothing throughout the 90-day period, except for the priming to stop. That was the only thing I craved for.
Right.
When does this end? I mean, if you remember, guys, after 1 week of priming, I said, do I really have to do this another week?
Right.
Yes, I know you didn't want to.
You were trying to get around it.
I was trying to,
you were like, just do it for everybody else.
Yeah, do it for the process. I'll take one for the team. And I did the best I could. There were a couple of days I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it properly.
Yeah, you were upfront about that. This is real life. This is what happens in real coaching, in real people's, we have the script. We can't follow the script all the time. So this was so beautiful that you guys were willing to let people be into that actual process.
I think that was really important. It was like, to me, if we're going to do this, let's get something out of it other than just me getting a six pack, because that's just me. I wanted to benefit tens of thousands of people. And we have. We have. Because you had, 600 new signups for the course last month.
Oh, yeah.
Tens of thousands of people have seen the videos on my channel now.
Yes.
In fact, it's pushing hundreds of thousands. It's in the late tens of thousands of people that have seen all of those videos combined. I was looking at the playlist the other day to find out, how many views are, has this thing hit the mark? Have people watched this? Have they been interested? Reading through the comments. People have been absolutely on board with us. They've ridden the whole thing with us.
Yes.
And there are people who are just saying, this may well have saved my life. This is a big difference. They have, well and truly worth it, Well,
the great thing is you even had Jess in there too. So you got to see her progress right before your eyes. Yeah, just like Emily was asking about, like your scientific mind must have kept going on that and, it being curious, right? Because, you've been talking against Seco for a while, right? Yeah. I mean, and both you and Jess totally disprove the sequel theory hard ways. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but don't you think that's a great?
Well, look, let's put some numbers on that, Raymond, because I mean, sure, this is n equals 1. It's just me, and with Jess, it's n equals 2. She's a woman, I'm a man, so we've got one of each. Great.
Right.
We both, Jess and I, both lost 10 pounds
Same
in that
amount.
first 2 weeks each.
Oh, gotcha.
Give or take. She lost a bit less than me. I was slightly over 10 pounds. She was slightly under 10 pounds, whatever. But we both worked out that we were both eating 5 and 6 times the calories that we typically had been prior to that. So if calories in, calories out was true, how in the purple, whatever you like, can you explain that both of us lost 10 pounds eating 5 times as much energy as we had been previously? How does that work? Well,
not even that you were intending to do this either.
No,
because I told you might gain weight. More than likely you will. But both of you did not.
No.
Right.
Speaking of Jess, speaking of Jess, I know that this video will be edited and come out after the fact, but I'm talking in the present tense because that's where we are right now. Tomorrow, which is the 22nd of April in the US at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time, I'm talking to Jess, who has finished her 90 days altogether now.
I will have to
stop. And we're talking to her about her newfound food freedom, and we have photos before and after.
Oh my goodness. And there was nothing sad about the before pictures on that situation. I mean, come on.
No, she was not too untidy before she started, to be fair.
Gorgeous, athletic woman, and this is exciting. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So that's coming up tomorrow.
Okay.
That'll be premiering.
I mean, this is our dream, and that will stay on your channel, Bart. Folks can, by the time this goes out, people can come back and
still be there. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we have big dreams for this. And so just hearing the energy and the excitement that you have and how many people have heard, because we're starting to get the message that Seiko's done. This is calories in, calories out. Like, you know, that's kind of becoming commonplace, but we're going one step further that let's be done with this under eating business. And something that needs to couple with that theory, especially in the carnivore way of eating. It is so easy to undereat because it is so highly densely nutritious that people can make that mistake and restrict. And that's our carnivore dream for the world, is that people would feast, that everybody would just learn and not to be scared of the feast and what that can do for their health, how that can turn things around.
Couldn't say it better myself. Anytime you want to destroy your metabolism, destroy your chances of having the body of your dreams, boys and girls, you just go right ahead and undereat.
How much of a difference did you feel between 95, 98% carnivore to the 100%?
100% difference. Completely different. You would think a 5% transgression against carnivore would mean that you'd have a 5% penalty against your health. Sorry, no. At least 100% difference in my health from a 5% transgression, at least 100%.
Yeah, let's ignore body-wise. Yep. What was there other benefits that you really enjoyed about the 100% carnivore that you were so different? Mood
stability, energy, motivation to work, to make videos, to do what I do, to play the roles that I play. A lot of people, still don't seem to understand that actually what I do on YouTube is, while it is educational and the information that I'm imparting is correct, I'm doing it in a certain style, in a certain fashion. There is a lot of play acting. There are characters. There's a lot of effort that goes into that. And I have to motivate myself to get into those characters, to play those roles, to even bother going to the closet to get out that uniform, to put that uniform on, for example, to put on the different costumes, to get into the different characters, to get Yellow Ted to do his thing. All of that stuff takes energy. Yeah. So having that energy, having the desire to do it, feeling good about doing it. The other benefit that I'm quite sure must have something to do with what we've been doing with this challenge as well, among other things. I'm not saying it's the only cause, but my channel has also suddenly experienced an incredible burst of growth, just the energy around the place, the people coming in. I'm suddenly getting many more subscribers, many more views, many more comments. People are more interested, the energy, and it's got to be because I've had more energy to present it. There has to be an aspect of that. My relationship with my partner is better. Not that it was bad, But, it's better. We have more energy for each other's nonsense, frankly. And we're both pretty set in our ways at our age. And so, there's a bit of nonsense to work through as you do in these kind of things. Yeah, just my ability to cope with life in general. Everything is better. As you say, putting aside the physical stuff, the change in the body shape, my bowel function's better. My digestion's better.
Huge. What about anxiety?
My sleep is the one thing that's like, yes, anxiety. Thank you. Yeah, anxiety vastly improved. I have anxiety disorder, have had a lifelong history of anxiety disorder at some level or another. And I would say that currently and of late, it's been the best. I've probably been the least anxious I've been my entire life. In fact, I don't even think anxiety is really an issue in my life at the moment, and hasn't been for several months now.
Fantastic. That says a lot.
Awesome. Absolutely. Right. And that's worth, if I got nothing else out of this, if I just got that, that's gold. That's absolute gold. Priceless right there. The one thing that's not necessarily better is my sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm told that's quite normal for people on carnivore diets, that actually we need less sleep. Absolutely. And also for people post 50, because I'm still getting my head around that. I'm over 50 years old.
That's right. I know. Now you can say you're over 50, right?
What is that even? I don't, what?
Well, that destroys another myth now, doesn't it? That destroys another myth. Of course, they say as you get older, you need to sleep more too, right? So they also say, hey, you need to make sure you get at least 8 hours of sleep. But unfortunately, when you're especially fasting and carnivore, sleep is not needed as much. And the thing is, what you've told me, that's why I'm not worried about is you don't wake up dragging. You wake up fine. Then as far as I'm concerned, that's just extra time you have for the day to do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah. Well, just an example, I was up before 7 o'clock this morning, bang, straight down to the office, parked down here in this chair. Right. Let's go. And I've made 2 videos this morning. I've had 2 appointments with clients. I'm doing this recording right now. I've got another appointment after this, another video to make after that, plus all the editing, etc. to do with that. No problem. And, I might even put some food in there at some point, and it'll be a huge, huge plate of steak is what it will be. No, steak. Today we're having chicken legs. Sorry. I told a lie. There you go, though.
Glorious. This is so cool. I'm just blown away. I'm absolutely blown away by you. And I haven't even shared this one little minor detail. And I don't know if it's changed or if it's still happening, but there was a story that you told us about something that you were thinking about doing next, or a challenge you were thinking about putting out there. And you don't have to do this or whatever, but even just the idea that you were considering this. So tell us about that. It was just my favorite thing that I heard about your journey.
Yeah. Look, I decided at the end of the challenge, I needed something to build on it. I needed something. What's the next thing? I needed the next challenge. Eating 100% carnivore is no longer a challenge. It's now home base. It's what I'm doing. I wanted to push myself that bit more again. And I also wanted to say, well, how else could I, still further improve on my health functionally? I mean, okay, the body composition, the aesthetic thing, that's been fantastic. That's been great. But, could it be better? Sure, absolutely. So I decided I would get back into competitive sport post 50 years of age. And I haven't competitively been involved in sport since, I nominally retired from competitive sport in my mid-30s, which is about when most blokes do. That's about when that's the end of that. So, I'm into physical training. I'm into preparing myself. I could just go and play. I could go and play senior sport. You bet. I could just go and be social and, and then, but I don't want to play sport socially. I want to compete. I want to win, and I want to be at the top of the game. And I want to compete with blokes who are in their 20s and 30s in the senior men. Yeah, I don't want to go and play sport in the over 50s league.
Right.
Most of those guys would be, moving around on Zimmer frames or something. I'm exaggerating. I get that. But I want to go and play sport with men, not with decrepit old, Anyway, so I'm physically preparing to actually get my post-50 body ready for competitive sport, which will start in the next summer season of cricket, which Americans probably don't understand, but it's a crazy, you've probably seen what cricket is. It's a game where you have a bat and ball game, basically, where you have 2 batsmen and you have the other side fielding. But I'm not going to say it's like baseball or anything, because it's not. It's a completely different game. It's a competitive sport. It's played hard by blokes that want to play hard, and it's a physically demanding thing. And so, that's what I'm going to do. So it's resistance training, it's calisthenics, it's continuing the diet, it's continuing to not drink, it's getting ready for that. So that's my next challenge.
This sort of built this foundation that you can launch off. What I hear is just confidence. I hear so much confidence. It's just kind of cool to listen to your story and hear how far this has taken you. It's absolutely incredible. I do have a question too. Spoken to the mental and emotional benefits. And we see this all the time, actually, with our clients and our members in our SB gang. Just a little bit of feedback. I think we know why it is. I want to hear why you think that is.
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a rich tapestry. And I think that it starts from the foundation of being fully replete with nutrient. And most people are not having the nutrient on board. I think it's about having the confidence and belief in yourself that comes from being in charge, being in control of your food and your substance abuse and all that kind of stuff, so that everything you do is a choice and nothing feels compelled upon you by some kind of ridiculous craving or your body taking charge. I'm in charge here. The brain's in charge.
Yes.
I'm emotionally in control. That's a powerful thing that puts you in a powerful position. That's the sort of thing that leads me to say, now I'm going to get in a sporting ring in a competitive sporting position with blokes who are in their 20s at the time of their lives who are going to fling a cricket ball at me at a pace that can do some damage, and I'm going to deal with it. This kind of thing. I'm not going to have guys that twaddle in on a Zimmer frame and pitch the ball at sort of 60, if you're lucky. The guys that are going to be bowling to me are going to be bowling at 85 and above. That's going to hurt if I'm not up to it. Sure that you wear pads and everything, but you don't have pads everywhere. And a cricket ball is hard. It's a hard thing. It's not a rubber thing. It's proper. It's like a bit of concrete. Really, if it hits you, it's going to do damage. So there's that. There's feeling emotionally in charge. There's feeling like you can get on with others. There's looking in the mirror and liking what you see.
Of course, yeah.
All of that stuff is helpful. Absolutely. But it's the foundation of being fully replete with nutrient, not being short of anything. Everything's working the way it's supposed to, the gut working the way it should, the microbiome being happy and feeling like life is a pleasure and not a chore.
Man, that's fantastic. Wow. I love that. Well, really, thank you, Bart, for actually sharing with the world this. And really, I can tell you, and I have read some of the comments, a lot of people have followed you and actually went through the journey with you. And you're right. It's amazing how many people had such great successes from doing what you're doing. You have a very respected audience. Most of them are actually curious to see if there's other things that can help them along the way, which is great because, we're told one thing that's been totally wrong, that's destroyed our health. So it's nice that we have people like you and a professor at that can stand up and influence us to say, hey, maybe they're not so right. Maybe there is another way. Not saying that's the right way either, but maybe there's another way. So I really appreciate to be open-minded and you doing this for all of us, actually.
My absolute pleasure. And thank you for having the courage and the conviction to come and talk to someone like me and say, this is something I think you need. Because a lot of people find me intimidating, to be fair.
Yes, you are. You have a lot of letters behind your name. So of course you are.
And, and Raymond had the courage to ignore that and to go, no, this is a human being and this is a human being that is suffering and I can help. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing it.
Great. And thank you for taking the challenge. And looks like it's going to help us both and hopefully help heal the world one people at a time. So
excellent. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Bart. Emily?
Beautiful. This was a gorgeous interview. Such a great experience. The reason why we did this, the reason why we're doing this is we want to just spread it. And so Bart, you've been instrumental in helping that happen for us. So I just thank you so much.
My pleasure.